All right. Well, aloha kakahiaka, everyone. Good morning. I'm Peter K, and you are with us today on October 10th at the Aloha Friday Hawaii Real Estate Show. I am really glad that you're here with us. We have a great show planned for you today. Our big lineup here, a bunch of stuff going on. We got some market updates, and I got some really fun Hawaii news that you can need, especially for folks that are on Oahu. You're going to want to know about this stuff. We've got some questions that are lined up, and we're going to be going over some diamonds and deals, some properties that we think are well worth looking into, and we're going to close with some motivational thoughts. But the first thing that we got to do here, we have to warm up the internets, get things up and running over here. And so I've got my friends here with me. We've got Dylan Nonaka from the Big Island, and we have Heidi Dallinger from Maui, and I'm really glad that you guys are here. So let us start the warm up over here. Dylan, Dylan, give us the update. How's the Big Island? What's the shirt you're wearing? Dylan is famous for the shirt. It's always about the shirt. What's the shirt? How's the Big Island? How are you doing?
Yeah, wearing my standard living hula today, nice bright yellow for Aloha Friday. It's beautiful day over here in Kona. It's just we were talking before we started the show. I got to go fishing yesterday with my boys. They're on fall break right now, so I guess fall break's kind of early in Hawaii, but they've been off all week from school, and so they planned this trip last week, and so I had to take the day off. A rare day off during the week when I'm here because I travel a lot and I'm always doing other stuff. So when I'm in town, I try and like be nose to the grindstone and be in the office. But took a day off and went out on the water, and it was a cool experience because the boys are at the point now in their journey that they can kind of do everything themselves. The older one can drive the truck and the trailer, and the younger one helps him offload it at the pier. I just kind of went along for supervision. Mom and dad went along for supervision, but they did everything on their own. They could set up all the lines, and if anybody's been deep sea fishing, it's a lot of preparation and work and skill and knowledge. And luckily they have a grandpa and an uncle that are very highly skilled. They don't learn that stuff from dad, so they're carried on the tradition of the fisherman family.
That's great. That's right. I was kind of like, where did they get those skills from? From their grandfather. That's right. I forgot that your father-in-law is a avid fisherman. Avid fisherman.
Yes,
So that's
yes. And it was perfect.
great.
We caught two little ahi and a kamado, and it was like perfect amount of food for all of the family. So we cut that all up yesterday, and perfect day.
Ooh,
So, but
ooh,
it's always
man.
you always got to do the comparison, right? The fantasy is, oh, I'd love to have a boat and go fishing, but when you think about how much it cost you for those that 10 pounds of ahi, it's cheaper to go to Safeway or Sack and Safe. So, it's,
Isn't that remarkable though? I mean, but that is the beauty, the incredible beauty of capitalism, right? I can just the other day, I can walk into Safeway, and I bought the fresh out here, so it's $30 a pound, but still, I give them $30, I get a pound of ahi, and that same pound of ahi that you guys had to get took the whole day, many people, boats, fishing, lines, putting it back, cleaning, it's like hours and hours and, easily several man hours a day, several days of work,
yeah,
overall hours
whenever
worth.
you complain about the price of fresh fish, if you actually go out and catch it, understand what it takes, you understand why it costs that much. So you don't complain about it as
Ex-
much. So yeah.
exactly. All right. Let's move on to Heidi. But before we do so, I'm going to say hi to Dwayne Carwile. Hey, how's it, guys? Dwayne, great to see you, buddy. Glad that you're with us. If you're with us, make sure you give us a quick shout out. We'd like to know who's participating with us on the show today. Heidi, what's the coffee? You looking good today? What's the coffee? How's Maui?
It is a gorgeous day on Maui. We had some really heavy rains on Tuesday and earlier this week, which it's great to get rain. It's unusual to have rainstorms where it's just raining so hard you can't see when you're driving. So that was kind of unusual. But the sun's out this morning. I'm drinking my coffee, and I was just thinking about, what you and Dylan were just talking about. If you've ever toured a coffee farm and seen what it takes to grow coffee and then roast it and then make it, you just really, really appreciate it. And I did not grow and roast this coffee, but I am definitely enjoying it this morning.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing is like, thank you. Yeah, yeah. How much work does it take? I just love that whole idea. It takes an incredible Dylan, you know this too. You grew up in a coffee farm, right? The incredible amount of effort it takes to come up with like 1 pound of beans, right?
If I had a dollar for every conversation I've had about somebody with the dream of moving to Hawaii and becoming a coffee farmer, and the amount of discouragement I've given them, or at least real advice, that unfiltered advice, I'd be quite a rich man. So yeah, it's a ton of work. And a big piece of it, talking about like real estate, is people don't take into account the cost of real estate, right? The cost of real estate is a direct function of the cost of a good. And you can get real estate very cheap in Colombia and South America, where they grow coffee. And if you're going to buy 100 acres in Hawaii and grow coffee, like, your upfront cost of just putting plants in the ground before you do anything else is astronomically higher than it is in some other place in the world. So that's a big consideration I think people miss, right? Is like the cost per acre for just to grow stuff here.
Well, look, there's a good argument to be said that, most of the high, the well publicized high cost of living in Hawaii, almost all of it. Well, I would say 90% of those costs could be traced to two things. Number one, the high cost of real estate, because that affects everything, affects storage, affects rent, affects everything. And number two, the high cost of energy. Those two things contribute to, practically everything that it takes. Yeah, I got a riff just for 10 seconds here. But the incredible part, the difficulty of the coffee beans, right? The incredible work of the ahi, right? I think of that same thing when I go into Costco and I buy my jar of Kalamata olives from Greece. That's my favorite example. $15, and these things have come from Greece, halfway around the world, and now they're on the shelf at Costco. It's just, man, the the beauty and the amazement of capitalism. All right,
The world
time
we
to
live
move
in.
on. Time to move on. Time to move on. The world we live in. The world we live in. Okay, I got some news I want to cover up for you guys. I brought some stuff that's fun up, and Dylan, you may have noticed me. There's maybe an old story, but we've got. Let's see. We got. Hold on a second. There we go. We've got kokies in Waimanalo. So koki, the koki frog. Now, I didn't know about this before, but apparently the koki frogs have now come to Oahu, and it's just going to be a matter of time before these things are like all over the place. So that's going to be an interesting one. Henry's Dylan on the Big Island. Apparently, a Henry. I don't know what is a Henry. Henry is apparently they're doing some regulations for people that want to have chickens in their yards, because I guess the chickens are kind of getting out of control, in various places everywhere throughout Hawaii. Chickens are like a thing, and of course, usually with chickens comes roosters. Not fun in the morning. Apparently, there's a lot going on, and so on the Big Island, they are looking to regulate henneries. So in other words, what you can do and not do with the hens. Home sale surge on Oahu. I'm just going to skip that one over really quick because that's more of an Ashley thing, really quick. But surges, they surged 27%. Sales went up 27% for single family homes, and condominiums jumped 11.5% on Oahu. So I'll be interested to kind of see how Heidi and Dylan, with their market reports, what they've got to say, how those things are going in comparison. Well, we're number one, at least thankfully. It's a good thing. We're number one for mental health. Number one for mental health care. Hawaii is apparently ranked number one for affordability and of mental health care. It's a big thing. Mental health care is sadly a growing piece throughout the whole country, and it's nice to kind of see that it's good to be number one for a good thing, and I think that's a good thing. And then finally, thinking about good things. Oh, this is going to be we talked about, like, my Kalamata olives over here. Amazon next day delivery on Oahu. It is coming. Next day delivery on Oahu. We are all rejoicing. Amazon has been a game changer for Hawaii, as I'm sure Heidi and Dylan know. The whole Amazon thing has been changed the whole thing in Hawaii completely. And having Amazon next day is going to really just give us our next level. So I can't wait for that. So, all right, cool. So listen, why don't we do this? Let's roll into our market updates. Let's kind of talk that one through. And why don't we start? Give us an update on kind of what's going on. Why don't we start with you, Dylan? Give us the Big Island market update. What's happening? How are things? How would you summarize the market on the Big Island?
It's very, very flat. That's the summary, and I feel like I'm a broken record month after month after month. But in general, the number of sales is pretty flat across the board. We're down year to date. So I've been starting to look at more year to date numbers because we're 3/4 of the way through the year. So it gives us a good marker as to where we are this year versus last year. Because when you look at month over month, or this month, this September versus last September, it's just two snapshots in time, and it doesn't give you the cumulative kind of look for the whole entire year. But this year we're down 0.2% in terms of number of sales for single family homes. We're down 9% for the number of sales for condominiums, and down 4.5% for the number of pieces of vacant land that have sold. So we're going to end up the year, it's looking like, unless something dramatic happens, a little bit fewer sales than we had in 2024. But across the board, prices are pretty stable. We're up 3% for median homes. Condos are down a little bit, down 6% median price year to date for condos, but land is up 6.5%. So pretty much on average everything out, it's about flat in all different type of property segments. So pretty flat. That's kind of where we're at. Is prices are pretty stable. Number of sales is going to be a little bit slower than it was a year ago. And we're always coming back to, so what does that mean for the consumer? It's a pretty balanced market. I mean, it's still historically low inventory, so you don't have as much competition as you did previous to COVID, but way more inventory than there was in the years right after COVID. So we're kind of back to that balanced place. And I feel like on the buy side, there's a lot of opportunity, but there's a lot of apprehension just with stuff going on in the world. And I don't know if it's kids being back in school, but like it seems like buyer demand has cooled off a little bit and things are just kind of flat. So opportunities on both sides.
So do you have, I mean, if you had to guess, and if you had to speculate, well, my first question is this a normal, would you consider this a normal state of the market? And if not, what would you speculate is keeping it from being normal? What are the forces that are keeping it, that are kind of moving it out of the normal range of what you would say a market condition would be?
Well, we don't have a ton of seasonality in our market, but we definitely feel like this is a seasonal thing, right? It is in the fall. Everybody's done traveling for the summer. Summers are usually more busy because people are here and people are looking. Kids go back to school, and things really don't pick back up until mid-November when people start coming back for the holidays. And a big what the slowest month for us is a lot of times Ironman. Is we're in Ironman month. It's next weekend, and everything is booked, right? Every hotel room, every Airbnb is booked with people here that are competing or supporting the Ironman. So we don't have normal visitor travel. And October is usually a really, really slow month just for market activity because we don't see as many consumers that are in the market for real estate. So that could be part of it. Is just it's a seasonality thing. That's pretty normal. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, I couldn't really tell you like it's this thing, right? It's that economic marker. And I think if there's one thing like psychologically that's out there is that a lot of buyers really starting to see the news about like interest rates coming down, and so that like inclination to wait is stronger, I think, than it's been over the last 18 months because it's like it's been 2 years since rates have been high, and now it's like we're starting to see some stuff happen. But if you look at all the smart economic people and forecasts out there, it's not looking like, I don't think rates are going to come down like super, super low. They might come down 0.5% or something, but they're not going back down to 4%. A lot of people are saying, that the 4% interest rates for a 30-year mortgage are not going to happen in our lifetime. So again, that'll just take time for people to get used to too.
Interesting. Yeah. So there's been, so that's actually a good guess. A good guess is that the market conditions, I mean, those 3% interest rates, they're never coming back. And it perhaps is taking people, it's going to take a while for people to accept that and kind of get on with their lives. That's an
I will add one more interesting thing that I heard on this topic. And it's something that I've never heard anybody talk about before, but we talk about affordability for buyers all the time, right? High interest rates and appreciation in properties and wages not keeping up. And we're in a low affordability environment on the buy side. But nobody ever talks about affordability on the sell side. And this is an interesting, macroeconomic issue, is that the homeowners exemption for capital gains has not changed in, I think it's 40 years or something like that, right? So if you look at, right now uh there's a $500,000 exemption if you sell your house and you don't pay capital gains on that if it's your primary residence. But if you think about the prices over time, I mean, 40 years ago that was like, you never get that much equity in your house, but now you can gain that much equity in your house over 10 years. And so sellers are disincentivized to sell based on the current tax system because that homeowners exemption hasn't gone up, and or that exemption from capital gains tax if it's your primary residence. So interesting. I've heard that, somebody economically talking about that, and I was like, yeah, it's something I haven't heard and you don't hear discussed, but it's definitely on the back of somebody's mind. Like you, Peter, right? If you've been in a house for how long have you been in your house and how much equity do you have? I mean, your tax hit if you sell is something that's going to affect
Big
your
deal.
decision making, right? So
Big deal. Big deal.
yeah.
And well, to pile onto that, the other one, I mean, that's a valid one, completely valid. It has not,
And that's
by
keeping
no
homes off
means,
the market, right? That's feeding into
keeping homes off
the
the
lack of
market.
inventory. Yeah.
Well, and then the other thing that's keeping homes off the market is that there's a lot of homeowners. I'd love to know some stats, but there's a lot of homeowners who are still holding on to those 3% interest rates, those 2.5% interest rates, right? And why would they want to sell? And, why would you want to sell and triple, whatever, at least double your interest rate, which is going to double your monthly payment, when you can kind of stay put? So a lot of interesting pieces over there. That is going to be interesting. Cool. All right, let's move on. Heidi, your turn. Give us the Maui market update, Heidi. What's happening on your side? What's the latest? I mean, if there's any kind of current updates with the whole short term, I saw all kinds of stories about the short term vacation rentals. They're still trying to kind of go back and forth, still controversy. Anyway, but what's the update, Heidi? How's the market? How would you characterize it, and what's happening?
So year to date, through September 2025, compared to last year, median prices for single family homes are completely flat, 1.3 million, no change. New listings are down 1.3%. Pending sales going under contract down 10.4%. And our days on market for single family is been around 136 days. So the days on market's up 13.3% compared to last year. So pretty stable, pretty flat, pretty balanced market. Our condo market on Maui, on the other hand, year to date, the median sales prices are down 22.8% compared to the same period last year. Days on market around 141 days. Median price of a condo on Maui today, when we're looking at the year-to-date numbers, is 702,000, just a little over 702,000. So our condo market, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, it's definitely impacted by some of the local uncertainty regarding proposed changes to vacation rental laws. Now, what a lot of people don't know is nothing has actually changed yet. Bill 9 proposed by the mayor is still being discussed by the county council. They were going to meet October 13th. Now I heard that's pushed to November 7th. So a decision is still to be made. And just the uncertainty over this has been causing some buyers to sit on the sidelines, especially when you're looking at resort and vacation rental properties. But this uncertainty has really impacted prices of every condo market segment on Maui. So it's a great time to be a buyer. There's more choice, more opportunity, more negotiating opportunity as a buyer today, particularly in the condo market. So yeah, if you're looking to buy, it's you're just have more options, more opportunity.
Seems like a really good time to buy a condo in Maui. I mean, the whole market's being kind of like moved around by uncertainty. From both perspectives. If you were looking at buying a vacation rental condo, you can certainly buy one in the designated vacation rental areas, which are really, apparently, from what I'm understanding, Heidi, those won't be uh, 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 those won't be the ones that will be, even if that one law passes, to change vacation rental status. The ones that are currently in a vacation rental area zone, or whatever it's called, zone, are not going to change. They're going to still continue to be vacation rentals. So, but yet those have been affected by prices going down. So, and if you're looking at buying a condo to live in, get one, there's all kinds of options, and you don't care which way the vacation rental thing goes, because you're going to get a condo at a discount. So interesting. But yet at the same time, Heidi, what's interesting to me is that, okay, prices are down, but people that are going to live, forget about I could see why the investors are spooked. The Airbnb folks are spooked because of the uncertainty. I get that. But that doesn't explain to me why homeowners, people that are going to live in the condo, why they're not moving. Any sense of do you have any sense, Heidi, of what would it take to make those people move? Home buyers, people that want to live in the condo, not rent it out or invest it. Do you have any sense of what it would take to get those people to move?
Well, I think interest rates and affordability are still a big factor. I mean, in West Maui too, people that were impacted in Lahaina, I mean, some of them are still waiting for like settlements and payouts. And some people are still in temporary housing situations and maybe planning to buy or move in the next year. And also, I mean, for a local buyer, income has been affected because of the Lahaina fire and everything, tourism being down. So that impacts people's feeling of certainty and also ability to qualify and kind of take that next step. So, I mean, we really hope to have more local buyers in the market. I mean, that would be great. I'm not seeing too much of that yet. And as Dylan mentioned too, I mean, historically, this is, kind of a slow time of year for real estate, but, we'll see what happens the next few months. I definitely see things picking up and changing just from what I'm hearing, both from local buyers and also from investors as well, who are long-term investors and have been waiting for the right time. And I mean, whether or not it's a good time for any individual as a buyer, I mean, that's very specific to, your personal situation and your goals. And always happy to chat with anybody if you want to discuss. But I mean, what a real estate professional can do for you is just really know the market, know the properties, what's going on at specific properties. And that's where we can really help.
Well said. Yeah, I mean, I don't think about this because I don't live there, but yeah, Maui's gone through a lot. Obviously, the Lahaina fires, and that whole thing has been completely destabilized. And whereas the Lahaina fires have long left the memories of the people that don't live there, the reality on the ground is that it's affecting everything going on all the time. Tourism is down, things are economically uncertain, etc. So that explains a lot right off the bat. So we will hope things recover. Dylan, you want to say anything?
Yeah, one thing that came to mind in how he was talking about is think about the values of the properly zoned legal vacation rentals if all of the rest of them get banned. Like, if you're thinking about a long-term investment and 7,000 currently available units for vacation rentals get banned, what happens to the ones that are not going to get banned, right? I mean, that's your biggest opportunity in the Maui market.
Oh my
for
God.
Sure.
Oh my God, now you're talking. Holy moly.
Yeah, and all those prices are down significantly too.
Yeah.
So, which it doesn't completely make sense. So yeah, I mean, if people have been just waiting for, properties to go on sale.
And the one thing you can take to the bank is that Hawaii's not building any new resorts anytime soon. So our capacity for places for people to stay who want to visit is very much in limited supply and will continue to be long term.
Supply is not going to be going up. Man, that's a really good point, Dylan. That is a really good point. If I was going to be investing in condos on a sort of an Airbnb kind of a basis, you definitely would want to get the ones that are in correctly zoned areas, places that are not going to be affected by the current bill, which Heidi was the current bill is seeking to ban vacation rentals that are not in resort zoned areas. Is that right? Is that basically it?
The proposal is to phase out vacation rental use in apartment zoned areas, and there
Thank
are
you.
a large number of resorts that were built in apartment zoned areas, and they are legal vacation rentals, but this bill seeks to change that.
Got it. So you want to stay, if you were an Airbnb kind of investor, just stay out of the apartment zoned areas. You want to play it really safe, get in the resort zoned areas. It's still at a discount, and it's either going to pop back when the stability, if the bill doesn't pass, it'll pop back sooner or later because there'll be predictability in the markets. And if the bill does pass and it takes a zillion units off the market, it's going to skyrocket in value. Okay, I have convinced myself to buy a vacation rental in Maui. Or the question is, have I sufficiently have I sufficiently done so? I don't know. We'll find it.
Well, all this talk of possibly phasing out short-term rentals in apartment zoned areas, I mean, that's also impacting visitors coming to Maui. Like, I mean, tourism is down, and one of the reasons is people are confused, thinking their vacation rental is going to be canceled. Well, that's simply not the case. I mean, all the vacation rentals are continuing for now. Nothing is passed. If something is passed, likely it's going to be years out. There's going to be lawsuits. So, I mean, if you're looking to plan a vacation on Maui in the next year or so, I mean, I feel pretty confident that there would be no change in that. But there is some confusion because of all the media, just about what's going on.
I have not heard those media rumors, but I can certainly see where people would be hesitant. And there were I caught some stories about tourism being down. Statewide, the tourism is down, and a lot of the University of Hawaii economic forecast is forecasting that we're going to be going into some kind of a recession based on a variety of factors. So it's certainly possible. Certainly possible. Certainly possible. All right. Well, let's move on. We're going to say hello to Rich here, who joined us from Minnesota. Welcome back, Rich. Hope Minnesota is kind of holding up over there. What's the weather like in Minnesota? I'd be curious about that, Rich. Keep us posted on that. And for the rest of you, please give us a shout out. We'd like to know where you're at and where you're from, and that you've joined our little show over here. Thanks for being a part of it. All right, let's move on. So look, how did you get here? Did you get here through the newsletter? If you got the update from the newsletter, if you got that update from the newsletter and you're here because of that, you're good. If you did not, however, if you joined us otherwise, some other way you found us, which is great, you want to get on the newsletter, livinginhawaii.com. It's got amazing content week after week after week. We have shows every Friday now going on, and you want to be a part of that. There's great stories coming out every week, all about living in Hawaii. If you're not subscribed, get there. A little thing will pop up, put in your email address, and then off you go. All right. So I got a couple of things here. I wanted to kind of bring up our big question for today. Big question for today is about senior healthcare considerations. So the question would be, if you are talking to folks that are in the senior citizen bracket, let's say the over 50 bracket, what kinds of things would they want to consider? And I guess because Ashley, well, I'll take the crack from the Oahu side because Ashley's not here today. So Dylan, what's the considerations for seniors, again, over 50 on the Big Island? And maybe there's a difference between Hilo and Kona. What's the difference on the Big Island? Heidi, for you, what are the considerations? What should seniors be considering as far as healthcare choices, healthcare options, the healthcare status as it stands on Maui? I think that is the question to kind of frame it up. Dylan, why don't you start? I'll throw in my 2 cents as we go on. Give us the update. What's the situation with seniors and healthcare on the Big Island?
And luckily, I'm in a phase of life where I got lots of, even though I'm not in that category, I got lots of people in my life, my parents, aunties, uncles. I got lots of people that are in that category. And so I get a lot of direct feedback on their experience. And for the most part on the Big Island, if you're just a regular person that needs kind of regular care, you're good. I mean, there's plenty of options. The biggest consideration is how far you want to live away from those options. Because of the Big Island being so big, you can easily live an hour and a half away from your doctor's office, your clinic that you go to normally, a hospital. The two major hospitals are on each side of the island. We have smaller kind of emergency room type hospitals on the north and south parts of the island. There's a really great hospital up, a private hospital up in Waimea, which is part of the Queen's Health Network, which is really big on Oahu. But in general, if you just need kind of your every checkup every 6 months and maybe treatment for normal type ailments, you're totally fine. I think just thinking about how far do you want to drive from that place is maybe something to consider before you purchase a permanent residence. And then of course, if you do have serious ailments or maybe specialized care, you do have to fly to Oahu in most cases. But most insurance providers, they cover the cost of that travel. A lot of the healthcare providers will pick you up from the airport. I mean, there's all kinds of different services. Now, I really feel like in the last 10 years, this has gotten a lot better. And maybe some of the conceptions about, it being a challenge in Hawaii are really from years past and don't really reflect the current state of affairs today. So in general, there's not that much to consider. We can take care of you here pretty well.
So just like Costco has changed our whole shopping experience, the old days of very few doctors on the Big Island, and you have to go to Oahu for everything. I'm kind of exaggerating now. That's not quite the way it is now. It seems like there's a lot more healthcare options because because you have family, aunties, uncles, moms, dads
Yep.
that are going for that. Excellent. Well, that is good to hear and would be a great relief. Before we go on to Heidi, I want to say, hey, BuzzTune, we gotcha. Hey, all. Good. Welcome, BuzzTune. Good to see you. Thank you for being a part of this. Let us know where you're from. Heidi, how would you characterize the healthcare options on Maui when we're speaking to seniors?
Yeah, I mean, pretty similar. There's plenty of basic health care here. For specialized care, you're going to have to go to Oahu. My husband recently had a procedure on Oahu, and his health insurance actually flew both of us to Oahu and back. So that was pretty cool. As far as, I live in West Maui. To drive to the hospital, I mean, it's about a 45-minute, could be an hour drive. So that's a consideration of, how close that you want to live to a main hospital. But we do have urgent care and medical centers out here that are very close to where I live. So, I mean, again, I think it's kind of an individual choice, but if you do need a lot of specialized medical care, know that there's a chance that you're going to be flying to Oahu for that.
So yeah, okay. So as the token Oahu person here, I would say that that's based. I think what it comes down to really is you have to kind of know thyself and know what healthcare needs that you have. Do a little bit of research. If you do need specialists, are those specialists? What is their availability on the individual islands versus availability on Oahu? The insurance does cover airfare, which is fantastic, and for two people, Heidi, which is great. And then the proximity. What's your proximity to the hospital? How close do you need to be? I'll tell you something. I remember, when my daughter was little, she used to have asthma attacks, and I remember, throwing her in the back of the car and flying down the highway, middle of the night, 100 miles an hour down H1, man, to get to the hospital. But because it was only 20, sort of a 20 or a 30-minute ride versus a 40-minute or hour and a half, or God forbid having to fly. I remember once we went to Kona. Dylan, we were at the Hyatt Waikoloa, and my younger daughter had an asthma attack, and the doctor said, get on the plane and go back, and that's what we did. So, that's, you gotta know thyself, know what's going on, know what your options are, do the research. Not that big of a deal.
But a lot of people that are here also lead very healthy lives because they're outside all the time, they're exercising, so if you're a young retiree and you're just thinking of moving here, I mean, think about your overall health and lifestyle, and how that's going to play into everything. It's not just about living close to the hospital.
Yes, it's you really got to kind of put that whole you have to take that holistic approach in what you're doing. And yeah, Hawaii does have a much healthier um, overall populace. We take good we because we're active. We're outside. We do stuff. Thank you. Thanks everybody. All
And then
right.
we also have a really good system of air ambulances, right? So if you do get something catastrophic, you get into a catastrophic accident or something like that. I actually live right below our Kona hospital, and it always bums my wife out when she hears the helicopter, because she knows something bad happened, right? Because when the helicopter flies over our house, they're basically going, it's a straight line over our house from the hospital to Oahu. But my brother-in-law, who is a firefighter, always says if they're in the air ambulance, that means that they can be saved. So it's actually good news, right? Because if you don't get into the air ambulance, that means they're not gonna waste the resources and try and get you to Oahu. So it actually means that's a positive thing. So it's all perspective.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Yes, you want to be in the ambulance. It's a good thing because you're getting immediate care at that moment. Yeah, that's an excellent point. Excellent. Great. All right. Hey, let's move on. We're going to go to just want to give everybody a quick reminder. You can ask us anything. This is an Ask Us Anything show. You got some questions, throw it in the comments. And hey, Buzztune has stepped up the game here. So thanks, Buzztune. He put a interesting question. So this is a good one. It's a little bit off, which is great. It's Ask Us Anything. How has a career in real estate helped your overall life? That's a good one. That's a good one. Heidi, why don't you start with that one? Because I know that Dylan's got like a speech ready for this one. So, but I want to hear from you, Heidi. You've done nothing but real estate on Maui for over a decade, well over a decade now. What's it? How would you answer a Buzztune, Heidi?
I think it's the best job ever. I mean, I totally love it. It's an opportunity to connect with people, to be creative, to just use a lot of different skills that I've acquired over my lifetime. And it's always changing. It never gets boring. Um, to me, I mean, I work all the time, but I like the freedom of not having to be in a specific place 8 to 5 every day. So I do appreciate that. And then also, as a real estate agent, I mean, we're all independent contractors. I mean, I'm in charge of my own destiny. What I do is going to lead to what results I get in the future. So I like, I like that part of it too. It's definitely not for everybody. I mean, it can be stressful because you really don't know what your income is going to be, and sometimes it's working a lot. Well, it seems like you're working for free. So it's just, you do have to have a lot of tenacity and grit, I think, to make it work and stay in it. But it could be a really rewarding career.
Excellent. Hey, okay. I'm going to have another following question for the two of you afterwards. But Dylan, I want to hear your person now. Now, Buston, you may or may not know this, but Dylan runs a brokerage. He's a broker on the Big Island and works with many agents. And Dylan kind of, like, a lot of times functions as sort of motivational speaker. So Dylan, how would you respond to Buzztune's question?
So I'll take this more philosophically, right? I believe that there is, in this great country that we live in, many ways to make a living and make a lot of money. And I think a lot of times people think about real estate as a career or a job because they think about, oh, I can make a lot of money. And I think that's a misconception. That's not, I mean, most realtors actually don't make very much money. The median income for a realtor, I think, is under $40,000. If you look nationwide, there are the top, 3% that do very well. And the reason for that is because it's a key word in your question is career. They treat it like a career. A lot of people get into real estate thinking it's going to be a side hustle. They can make some extra money, make some easy money. And it always doesn't work out. I've never seen that actually work out. And if you want to get into it as a career, be a professional, serve your clients at a high level, be an expert, it can be very rewarding. Like Heidi said, you help a lot of people. You have to like people. You have to like being of service to people. And you, like Heidi said, you basically chart your own destiny. You can make as much or as little as you want. But I think there's a misconception that like, hey, it's an easy way to make money, so I should do that. And if that's the intent, then it usually does not work out. I always tell this story as an aside before Peter's got his follow on. Is one of my favorite clients was a younger guy. He was like 10 years younger than me at the time, and this was years ago. And he made more money than like doctors and lawyers that I had worked with. They do the pre-qualification, and he was shopping for a house. And I was like, what do you do? I was like, what is this guy selling drugs? I mean, what is this guy doing? And he figured out how to buy in bulk car audio equipment from China, and then built a website and was reselling this stuff. So like he would buy it for 25 cents and then resell it for 50 cents, right? I mean, like, but at huge scale. And he was making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And it was just a great example of somebody being creative, seeing a niche in the market. And I mean, I would never buy a car. I've never modified my car stereo ever. It's not the market I would ever be in, but there's a huge market for that out there, niche market for that. And he figured out a way to capitalize on that and lived an amazing life. And so it's like, it's really how creative and hardworking and innovative do you want to be? We all have tons of opportunity.
Well said. Well said. Well, look, it was really kind of funny. I came across, I was doing my normal podcast feed the other day, and I came across two separate interviews that were completely unrelated, but the issue of success came up. And the one simple thing that both of the people had said, or what you got out of it from both of those different stories, was that work your ass off. Work your ass off. That's it. That's the only thing you need to know about being successful, whether it's real estate or car audio or reselling car audio from China, or being an amazing real estate agent on Maui and enjoying beautiful sunsets with whales. Heidi, I guarantee you have worked your ass off. Dylan, I know you work your ass off. I know that's the case. And that's what it totally takes. Okay, so my follow-on question, go ahead, Heidi.
I would just add, I mean, the only reason I'm still in this business and where I am today is because I kept working when any reasonable person would have quit a long time ago. Because, I mean, it was like when I first started, I didn't make money for a long time. I just kept working and working. I mean, any logical person probably would have said, oh, this isn't working out, but I just kept going. And then eventually it works out. I mean, you also have to enjoy the work itself. But I mean, getting into real estate for making easy money, I mean, that's probably the worst reason to get in.
You're not
I mean,
kidding.
you might see somebody get a license and sell one house and then they're out.
Well, there's just no way. I mean, it's kind of funny, Heidi, and you do have to love it. But the reason why you have to love it is not because you're looking for the ultimate fulfillment of your spiritual sense and you want to be one with the universe and all that kind of crap. The reason why you have to love it is because you're going to be doing it for a long time without making any money whatsoever. You've got to love it, because that's the only thing that's going to power you through those years. X, Y, 1, 2. Dylan, what's the statistic? Is there a stat out there, the average number of years it takes a real estate agent to get to making what would be considered a sort regular living? How long does it take?
Normally, well, the statistic that's definitely out there is 80% of people who get their license quit within 2 years. So that's the first thing. It's 8 out of 10 people who get a real estate license and start don't make it beyond 2 years. And so 2 years is kind of that marker where if you make it beyond 2 years, that's a good sign. But that's also market dependent. There's a lot of people that got their license in 21 and 22 who made it 2 years and now are not making it because there was an artificially easy market for folks that they didn't have. It wasn't a highly skilled market. We are now in a highly skilled market. I mean, people like Heidi and myself and the people that are out there have survived to this point because we have a skill set that is valuable to people and enhances their experience. And so I really like to use 5 years as a marker. Like if you make it beyond 5 years, you're probably going to be in it for the long haul. But the first 5 years can be very, very difficult. It can be a grind. And back to your kind of point about working your ass off, there's I'm a believer that the only way you get good at anything, and it's not like a belief, this is just the truth, is you have to do a lot of it, right? So it's not just selling a lot of houses. You have to talk to a lot of people. You have to show a lot of houses. You have to write a lot of contracts. You have to do a lot of things before you get to the point of selling, actually closing on a lot of homes. And a lot of folks just don't want to put in the sheer amount of work and volume that it takes to become an expert and to become indispensable and become invaluable to your clients. And like Heidi said, a lot of times that takes years of doing something that any reasonable person would have quit doing before it actually works out. And so her story is very amongst top performing and long lasting realtors. That is a common theme. Like is that I should have quit a long time ago. I was 2 years in, and my family thought I was nuts. And then in year 3, everything pops off and gets going. So it takes time to build momentum, but once it starts going, it's hard to stop.
That's it, man. I love that, Heidi. No reasonable person would have kept up with doing what I'm doing. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Lifelong entrepreneur. Look, I've even got it like a simpler reason. I'm a lifelong entrepreneur. I've had 7 startups over 40 years. I've never had a job ever, not once, since 21. It's not because no other reasonable person would have given up. It's because I'm completely an unhireable person. No one would ever want me to work for them. There's no way I would be a good employee. No way. The only option I have is to do my own thing. I got nothing. I got no place else to go. Is that one line in Officer and a Gentleman? So, all right, Buzz-Tune, man, I hope you got worked on that one, dude. That is a great bunch of expertise. All right, next slide, please. Let's move on. We're going to go on to Diamonds and Deals. We've got a bunch of collection of properties that Dylan and Heidi have picked out for us. So let's see what we are looking at. Wow, this is a beautiful slide. What are we looking at here, Heidi?
So this is a working organic farm. This is listed by one of my associates that I work with at Sotheby's. It's a very cool home. All these wood-clad walls and ceilings. Just a very unique design. There's also a massive garage, walk-in cold storage, egg office, 6 greenhouses. As you can see at the top picture, there's a jacuzzi. And this is up in Kula 200 neighborhood up in Kula. So anybody looking for a working organic farm. Oh, we can't hear you, Peter.
Thank you. I am looking at the fantasy right now. Thank you, Heidi. This is the fantasy home, right? That Dylan, all the people that have gone to want to open up a coffee farm, right? This is the fantasy farm. You get a 2 acres working organic farm, beautiful home, gorgeous home, jacuzzi and everything. And it's a farm, and you could kind of like be the organic farmer that for those who have always dreamed of being.
I'm not going to say it's going to be easy or without work, but you could live the dream.
No reasonable person would do this. No reasonable person would want to be a farmer, but it's a beautiful property and great photography, by the way. I really love how they did the nighttime with the house well lit. It really kind of pops. It's a cool look. Thank you, Heidi. Great property.
You know what's a terrible real estate secret, Peter, on that now is with AI. You can basically take any picture and say, make this a twilight picture, make the sky darker, change this, and it's like you don't even have to fire the photographer to come on at night anymore. It's crazy. So yeah,
it's
could or could not be real. I'm not going to comment on that, but it could or could not be the actual photo.
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's. Have you so now that we're riffing on AI for a quick sec, have you seen the latest feature on Grok? It's got the AI and the generation, the video generation, all this kind of stuff. You could take any picture and say add a girlfriend, and a girl will pop into the picture. So I took my daughter's pic. Yeah, it's hilarious. So my daughter sends me pictures every so often of her adventures in Chicago. So I take the pictures now and I add a boyfriend and I send it back to her. So it's really fun. It's really fun. Only a bunch of geeks would get into that. All right, Dylan, look, let's take a look at your what are we looking at? This is an amazing property. This is
So
yours. What is it?
yeah, this is just a massive house in Kona, and I saw it come up, and it's 4 bedrooms, 5 baths. There's actually three separate living areas, like the main house plus like two ohana additional unit type of units on it, so you can have additional family. You can rent it out. It is 2.7 million. It's on 1 acre. There's 40 almost 4,500 square feet of living space, and this is on the hill right above the airport. So great views. You can kind of see out of that living room, that big um uh huge sliding door where you're just looking right out into the expanse down into the Pacific Ocean. So just a great property in Kona if you're looking for something really big, because a lot of times, you know, 1,500, 2,000 square feet is a lot of space in Hawaii. You don't need a ton of space. And this actually has like 600 additional square feet of outdoor living space. So lanai space, covered lanai space where you can have gatherings, parties, things like that. So just a really, really cool property. And of room, you can actually grow everything you need on 1 acre. You don't need a whole farm. Like that's a big thing that I learned from my mom is growing up in. No matter what house we lived in, if it had 10,000 square feet, she would have a garden and 3 coffee trees, and everything she needed in order to kind of sustain the things that she enjoyed. And so you can definitely do that on 1 acre, no problem. It's actually almost too much. I always tell people, like, I have an acre, and it's like, man, it's my part-time job, especially when it rains a lot. It's uh, a lot of work to maintain property. So
A lot of work, a lot of work. What a beautiful house. It's huge. That ginormous sliding door. Uh,
that's one of the cool
and
features about Hawaii properties, when you have those pocket doors and it opens up to like a 20-foot wide
yeah,
space where it becomes indoor, outdoor living space. I mean, it's the best.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that kitchen looks humongous. That is a ginormous kitchen. That kitchen
And,
looks like
and
crazy.
cool shaped island, right? Not just the normal square
Yeah, it's
island.
like
It's
a
kind of got, yeah,
weird shape. It's kind of a
yeah,
goofball shape, but it's cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's really
yeah.
cool. It's really cool. Speaking about the homes with the doors and all that kind of stuff. I always had this dream. It's never going to happen, of course, but if I was going to build a home like from scratch, from dirt, I would put a nice big 6 foot stone wall around the entire property, and then I would build a house basically with giant in such a way where it would be architecturally built so that you could open up doors in the entire house. So the whole house would be built like on poles, so there's no walls, basically no exterior walls at all, and the exterior walls would all be sliding doors. So if you wanted to, you can slide all the doors up and leave the entire house completely open, and you'd have the privacy of the outside walls, which would be the stone walls. That would be like my dream. We've done a lot of that in our house. We have a lot of big sliding doors, and it's just great. I love it. Love big sliding doors. Only in Hawaii, man. If I could riff for one more moment, only in what I love about one of the things I love the most about Hawaii that we all take for granted, those of us who live here, is the simplicity of sleeping at night with all your windows and doors open. That is the greatest simple thing. Just the windows are open all the time. Sliding doors are all open all the time. Can't get enough of that. Can't get enough of that. All right, all right. Let's next slide, please. Let's move on. Let's move on. Heidi, what's your favorite house feature? If you're going to build a house from scratch, what's the one thing you would have that? What's the one feature you would have in that house for sure?
A big lanai with an ocean view.
Big lanai with an ocean view. That's it, man. Big lanai with an ocean view. Can't beat it. Can't beat it, Heidi. Can't beat it. All right, let's move on. Let's close up the show. If you got some closing thoughts you want to share with us, go please do so. Let's hit this one, Heidi. What's yours, and what's it? How's it significant for you today?
Okay, it sounds like a tongue twister, but today is the tomorrow you dream about yesterday. So this is just a reminder not to be a passive observer of life, and also like set intentions for the future, and just keep moving towards your dreams, and keep try to be in alignment and creating what you want to create in your life. And yeah, we don't know everything, we can't control everything, there's tons of unexpected things, but um you can kind of be reactive to whatever comes along, or you can start dreaming about what you want your future to look like and feel like, and then start taking actions towards that.
That's it, man. Today is I like how that's said. Today is the tomorrow you dreamed about yesterday. That's well said. It's all about the intention and what do you want out of your life? Where do you want to go with it? What do you want to have happen? Thank you, Heidi. That's that is a good one. Dylan, what's yours and what's its significance for you? Okay, look at the theme. The theme. I see the theme
almost connected to what we were talking about earlier, right? So genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Don't ever forget that hard work matters. And actually, this was I think it was Thomas Edison that said this. So
it's all about the hard work, man. All about the hard. Hey, Dylan, I should have asked you. I'm sorry. What's the if you had to build a house from scratch, what is the one feature you would absolutely make sure that house had?
Man, that's hard. The one feature I like cooking, so I would have like a ridiculous kitchen, and also the kitchen looking out into the view, right? Because a lot of times kitchens, for whatever reason, they're not positioned in a way. So to me, the house that you want is at elevation, a long house. So not compact but long, and then like every room in the house has a view, right? So you don't have to choose between which is the best room in the house. So that's, I think, from a design function. And then to your point, there is actually an oceanfront house in Keoho that is built to like what you're talking about, where it's kind of like a pavilion. It looks like an octagon pavilion, and all of the doors retract, or like all of the walls retract up, so you can open it up, and it's like 180 degrees into the ocean. It's been on the market in the past for like $20 million. So if you want it, we can hook you up.
Oh, sign me up. Here, I'll be right over. I'll write out the deposit check right now.
I think another great feature is like when you can go into a shower and then walk into an outdoor shower. That's really, I love that.
Oh, hey, I'm with you, man. I am with you. I've got an outdoor shower. My wife and I, we walk down to the beach, and it's so close. We don't take anything with us. No, we don't take towels. We don't take nothing. We just walk. Nothing, not, zero. And we walk there, enjoy, swim, and swim, frolic. We come back and I have an outside shower waiting for us, man. Shower right outside and walk into the back of the house. It's fantastic. Hey, before we move on, we got Heidi Perkins Walker, beautiful property, Dylan, not giving up on the dream in California, still visualizing Kona. Third time is the charm. That's it. Well, hey, just like what Heidi was saying, we got two Heidis here. Heidi Perkins says visualizing. Heidi Dollinger says visualize visualizing in the dream about what you want. That's what it's all about. Keep working at it. Heidi Perkins Walker, keep working at it. You'll get there. Remember, work your ass off, and you will get it. You will get it. All right. And kind of in an interesting way, along with our theme of hard work and get rich quick, not get rich quick stuff, because it doesn't happen. Now we got Proverbs. A faithful man will abound with blessings, but he who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. This is where the get rich with the bad idea of the get rich quick scheme started, folks. 3,000 years ago. It's in Proverbs. It's right here, and it's kind of in the theme that we've all been a part of it. All right. Well, hope you all had a great one. We had a great one. We're going to see you in a couple of weeks on October 24th. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Heidi, for being here. And thank you, Dylan. This was great, as usual. Great conversations, great stuff, great insights. And Heidi agrees, definitely. Keep it up, girl. Keep it up. You'll get there. You'll get it. All right. Dylan and then Heidi, say goodbye.
All right. Aloha, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Aloha, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, folks. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the view from wherever you're at. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Aloha.